Anyways, so now I can actually talk to every one of you now that I'm not broke. I got my AirPods for Christmas and I'm really happy with this investment. They don't fall out and they're actually handmade. I have proof of that. Just so you all know, I'm not broke and I'm not a peasant. And anyways, with that aside, I really don't know what I came here to talk about today. I guess today I went to the doctor because I thought I might have strep, but turns out I don't, so now I can't be bullied. Okay, well, I completely forgot what I was talking about because I had a very huge panic attack because my grandma shouted from downstairs, "What are you doing?" And I really didn't feel like explaining that I made my own AirPods, so. Okay, but to be real for a second, AirPods were a thing for a long time. How come they're just now, like, the big deal? I don't know why anyone would want one. Two, they can easily be lost, and they're just like white things coming out of your ear. As an iPhone 8 user, I can safely say that they don't mean anything. Unless they're handcrafted, of course. Oh, here's a fun thing to talk about. Finals week is coming up, and I can't wait to be the most relatable teen ever in this video because I'm talking about finals. Pardon my French, but I'm screwed. I don't know, I guess my biggest job here today is to complain about finals, not study, then take finals, and then cry. My biggest concern is my science final because I feel like I will be outed if I get a bad grade on it because my science teacher is just like that. That's something we can talk about. My science teacher. My friend and I call him Mr. D for other reasons than his last name starting with a D. Anyways, the other day I had a very massive bloody nose. Let me just tell you how to play it out from start to finish. So, I was just enjoying the very last minutes of my science class, and I had some snot stuck up way up my nose, and so I was like, okay, gotta get rid of this. It's kind of weird, you know. So, of course, my science teacher doesn't supply Kleenexes to his class, so naturally I go to the sink and grab a paper towel, you know, those brown ones that your school has that are very crunchy and useless. So here I am blowing my nose, just blowing away, you know, and nothing comes out. So naturally I give up. I set the paper towel aside and I'm like, alright, that sucks. And so my nose starts running and I'm like, okay, weird, if you can't blow out of my nose, how come you can run? So naturally I do this and I saw a nice red streak across my hand and I'm like, okay, it's just a normal bloody nose. It's the end of class, I can go deal with it, it's not gonna be a big deal. That's what I say internally, but in reality I started yelling,
Jackson, look!
To my friend because this is just the most amazing thing in the world. You wouldn't want to miss this bloody nose because it's better than the Super Bowl, better than the Miss America being aired on TV. So he looks up, and as he looks up, I look up, and my head tilts up, and 60 miles per hour out of my nose shoots blood. I thought it was just going to be a little tiny drip that I can go handle by myself, but imagine the highest pressure you can turn your water on times 12, and that's coming out of my nose. And so I'm like, okay, she's kind of bad, but we can power through this because it's just going to be a small bloody nose. It's not. So I head over to the sink, and now there's like 2 paper towels in the sink soaked with my blood, and the poor teacher's aide comes up to me. She's like, I have a tampon, do you want one of those? And I was like, okay. So I take the tampon that she gives me, just shove it up my nose, and we're good until the end of class. Mind you, we had a substitute that day, so I didn't have to deal with my angry science teacher. because had he been in the classroom, I probably would have gotten yelled at and sent to the office for harassment and vandalism. So it's the end of class. I rush to the bathroom, which thankfully isn't too far away from my classroom, and I take the tampon out of my nose, let it pour, and out comes with the tampon comes a blood clot around this large. And I was like, all right, well, thank God we have a clot. It'll stop now. It didn't. It just kept on going. And at that point, I have two people helping me out. My friend and this poor teacher who walked in on this. And then she called a nurse, and now the nurse is up there with this, like, SRO or something. I don't even know. And just everyone was up there having a good time. My friend was low-key, like, barfing, and that was super fun. So, she wasn't actually barfing. She almost did, so. And at this rate, it keeps on going, still isn't stopping, so I put my AirPods in, and I call my grandma, who doesn't answer her phone. So I'm stuck in the bathroom. She thinks I'm late from school, and eventually it stopped without a blood clot, so whatever that means, I don't know. The reason I wasn't too panicked was because my entire life I suffered from bloody noses. And so I thought it was just gonna be another bloody nose, but it wasn't. I almost just lost my entire blood supply, and if it went on any longer, probably would have like visited a hospital or something, but that actually would be awful because that reminds me of this episode of this like ER thing where this man has like a continuous bloody nose and they like shove these actual like nasal tampons up his brain. So I'm scarred from that, and I thought that was gonna happen to me, and I'm glad it didn't. So I'm very thankful to be sitting here today with my AirPods and having a good time. So that's probably the most interesting thing that happened to me in the past month. I'm very glad to share it with you guys because I know you all were just rushing over here to hear about my life. But anyways, I got a Zoom because my boyfriend texted me like 5 times and I haven't answered any of them. So I'm gonna go do that. Have fun, be safe, don't get bloody noses, and most importantly, obtain AirPods.